Welcome to Sipping with Maria and Tika G. We got to pay these bills, so let go. Here's a word from our sponsors. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosted on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more.
It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free.
Whoop whoop!
Boop! Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Today. Welcome to Sipping with Maria and Tika G, where we do not talk about politics, religion, or celebrities. We feel like there are enough vlogs, and other podcasts that talk about that stuff. Welcome to Season 2. Season 2 is called Let's Talk About It. We picked this topic because we want our listeners to feel comfortable with coming on our platform to talk about anything without feeling like they're being judged. Today we have a very special guest on the show, and I really appreciate her coming on the show today. Tika, can you please introduce our guest?
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Today, our special guest is Kendra. Welcome, Kendra. And we are going to be talking about life after the fight. So, Kendra, I'm going to let you tell us what it's about, life after the fight.
Hey, how y'all doing? I'm Kendra Nicole. Today, like they say already, today's topic is life after the fight. Basically, what that means is life after the fight is basically like growth. I'm gonna say that's just my story when it comes to domestic violence. I wasn't quite so a domestic violence victim. However, I was in a relationship where we fought a lot. Like we did a lot of physical fighting. I used to fight a lot when I was growing up. In my 20s, I was quite a fighter. So I did fight like almost in every relationship I had growing up. As I got older, I just matured and I just grew out of it and found peace within myself. Digressed myself I isolated myself from everywhere and everyone and just got myself together and found peace within myself, and I've just been better ever since. Yeah.
Kendra, can you explain to us why you were fighting? Was it anger issues within yourself, or was the anger was towards the person that you were fighting?
You know what? I'm not gonna say it was anger within myself. It was just more of, I don't know. I'm just gonna say it was a phase I was going through. It had to be a phase. Like I wasn't upset with myself. I didn't have no self-esteem. It was just my tolerance was so low. It's not that my tolerance is low, because my tolerance is still low. It's the fact that I had no control. I didn't have control over my emotions. I didn't have control over my actions. I was just lashing out, doing what I could, and doing what I want because nobody could stop me. That's just how I was. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Do you feel like, because sometimes people make comments, I'm sorry Tika, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sometimes people do things and don't know they're doing them until somebody bring it up to them. Is that what happened to you? Did somebody come tell you, Kendra, you're doing ABCD, maybe you should try EFG? Did somebody tell you that you were doing something that they felt that wasn't your character, that you didn't know you were doing? That's why you changed, or you changed as you grew?
A lot of people told me that I was, a lot of people tried to show me what I was turning into, but everybody else is not me. So it took for me to see. Everybody, you can put me in the mirror all day. It took me off my eyes. And that's what it took. It took for me to grow up and stuff.
I can agree with that.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with that as well. And what were you fighting? Just anyone, or was it anyone, any particular place and time, or was it certain people?
No, I don't pick and choose my battles. I fought on anyone that I felt disrespected. Majority of it was in my relationship. So I did have an ex-boyfriend that I used to put my hands on a lot. I put my hands on him a lot. It didn't matter where we were. It didn't matter what was going on. The event we was at, who was around. I was a little bit wild, but he's better now. And every time I talk to him, I feel him. I always apologize. And, I won't beat on him. Let's not get it confused. It ain't like my food was cold and I just snapped him across the head. It wasn't like that. It was just one of those. It was just, I was 21. I was in my 20s. I don't know. But I make up a lot for it now that I'm getting older. And I don't try to hide who I was then. I can't hide who I was then. Everybody that knew me then, see me now, and they always tell me, they remind me, they're like, no, you're doing so good for yourself. That is so good. I like how you grew up and you got matured and you ain't out here acting all buck wild no more. So I get it all the time. But like I said, it took for me to want to do it. And what made me change was, I'm going to say it was my mom. My mom made me change. My mom was getting older, so it's like, before I go to jail or anything happened to me, I didn't want my mom to go through it, so I changed.
Good for you. Change is good. That's basically what happened to me. I don't go by my first name for a reason, because people that know me hear my first name and it's like, oh. So I go by my middle name, one, because it's easier for everyone to remember, and two, it's less threatening. When someone hears Maria, they're not threatened by Maria. But if they hear my first name, it's like, ooh, hide. I used to be that person. You couldn't even look at me. I'll punch you in your face. You ain't even have to say nothing to me. But mine was within myself. I believe I was angry at myself, and as I grew and as I realized that the world wasn't against me, everybody's not against me, it was me against myself. I'm thinking everybody against me and different things are thrown at me, and at the end of the day, it was me, and it took me to change. I will say the thing that made me change even more was my children, so I get it. When it's hard, and I am so proud of you. I'm glad that you were able to get out of that, because stuff like that would end you up in jail. I know. So
yeah, it really will. I'm sorry to talk to you. I fight on it every day. Like, I don't go on. I calm down. I think when a situation hit me, before I can see red, I just slow it down before it hit me. I see it coming, I slow it down before it hit me, and I just think about all the possibilities of what could happen. I think of all the paths that I could take, and I choose my own path of action. Does that make sense? Like,
it does.
I worked on myself for a long time. I was to myself for probably about a year. I had to tame my emotions. I had to separate them. I had to understand them. I had to tame them. And what I did was I created, it sounds crazy, but I created names for all of them. And
it's not crazy at all.
We just all meet at a table and we all discuss like what we would do. And I just choose the best one. Some situations it's law, you have to do what you gotta do. Some situations you have to, you know what I'm saying? But if there's any type of life that you can prevent yourself from doing the most, regardless of how hard the bite is on your tongue, I suggest you do it, because at the end of the day, it's going to work out for you. And I had to learn that on my own. I had to learn that the hard way.
like you said, sometimes you got to come out of that character, even though you built that calm person. Because sometimes, excuse my friend, sometimes you got to check these bitches. You know, you have to remind. Sometimes you have to remind people. You have to remind them because they will take your kindness as she's soft now. No, don't get it twisted now. Like I tell, because I done had 3 surgeries on my toe, and I tell people, don't let this limp fool you. You know, sometimes you gotta check a bitch, but you know, I'm glad that you have calmed down, and I keep telling people the hardest thing to do is take responsibility. Once you take responsibility, everything else is smooth. But a lot of people won't admit that it was them. It's easier to blame somebody else than it is to blame yourself. When you start taking responsibility for your actions and things that you did, I got put out of my house because I let such and such live with me. No, you got put out your house because you weren't doing what you were supposed to do. You can't blame somebody that was living with you that wasn't supposed to be there in the first place for your reason for getting put out. You got put out because you violated your lease. Don't blame me for the reason why you got put out your house. You know, so it's so easy to blame somebody else than to take responsibility. And I applaud you for taking responsibility and doing positive actions to better yourself.
Right.
Yeah, I commend you as well because, you know, going back to when you said, you know, identifying and understanding your emotions, you know, because people have to realize that that's very important to actually understand them, identify them, and to really understand, you know, yourself and understand what's going on.
What I did was I had to identify my triggers. That was a major part of me too, of my triggers. I had to identify what caused me to go off. But who caused me to go off? Why they caused me to go off? Why do I go off? Those are my major W's. And when it comes to the certain people that triggers me, because I'm not one to just cut somebody off. I don't just automatically cut you off. What I'm doing is I'm gonna learn how to deal with you. I'm gonna learn how to keep you around, but not keep you close. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
Makes a lot of sense.
Because if you're in my life, you're in my life for a reason. You didn't just stumble across. You didn't just come back. It happened for a reason. So. Not that I'm not get everybody, certain people for certain seasons, but that's where it comes around when I say I'm gonna learn how to keep you around but not keep you close. That can go for the same thing. That's what I do. I know who triggers me because I know their ways. Now once I come to you about your ways, that's how I talk about mine. And I mean I don't expect you to take my word, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Just let it be in the back of your head, and one day when you sit by yourself, you look and you see yourself and take it upon yourself to change it. But if I don't see a change, then I gotta put a distance with it. But don't get it twisted. I'm still the same person towards you. It's just you're not in my everyday anymore. And that's just how
do you find yourself, I know I did, I found myself cutting people off. Not because they did something to me, but because I felt like we were going in different directions. For example, I have an associate that I'm 44 years old. She's been in the same situation since I was 26. And I'm to the point where I've been trying to help you for double-digit years, and I'm convinced that you're comfortable in being in your situation. So I removed myself from her, but I did tell her I couldn't, you know, I love you to death, but right now I can't be the friend that you need me to be. And she didn't understand that. I said, because you need fake friends, and I'm not a fake friend. You know, I need friends that's going to get themselves together. I'm talking to you, letting you know, okay, you slipping. It's time to revamp, girl. Let's get ourselves together. You not with that. So because you're not with the program, because I'm all about stepping up, going up, higher. I'm not with the going down. I'm not doing that. I'm not going down for nobody. So instead of me talking about you behind your back, I'm going to let you know that you will not be hearing from me no more. We have nothing in common. We can't talk about nothing. We can't talk about no job because you ain't got one. We can't talk about school because you ain't going. All you want to talk about is some pissy ass niggas that's not doing nothing for you, and you homeless living out of your car and stuff. But you won't.
Yeah, and that's true. That is so true, because I do believe that people do go to different roads. You know, people take different paths, and some people stay on the path that you left them on, and then you may revisit and say, hey, you know, what's going on now? And they be like, oh yeah, I'm doing the same thing, you know, but
same shit, different day.
That doesn't mean that they should, you know, get angry with you or anything like that. Right. It's just that just to say, hey, that this is what you decided to do. Don't get mad at me for moving on and doing all these other things.
And I've had to do that to two people. Yeah. And one of them was like, now I think I'm better than everybody else. No, it's not that I think I'm better than you. It comes to a point where you go so low. I can't go no lower if I'm already on the ground laying flat on my back, right? So the only thing to do is go up. And some people are comfortable with being on their back. I'm not comfortable with being on my back. I need to be on my feet. Let's get it.
Right.
You know? Right. I do want to introduce, we have a special person that just came in our little janky jang. Hey, Dana.
What? Who is it?
It's Dana.
Hello.
Hey, Dana.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I am here.
Well, Dana,
I am here. How are y'all?
I'm well, how are you?
Miss Kendra was talking about the fight. We weren't talking about necessarily anything negative, just basically how you overcome your situations, and I won't call them demons, but how you better yourself, you know. And I know that this is definitely a topic that you would like to be on as well. Miss Kendra, back to you. I'm very, very proud of you. Again, not too many people can say that they have changed for the better, because some people don't change for the better, they change for the worse. You already grimy, you change and you get grimier because grimy works for you.
Right.
You know, instead of taking the time to heal yourself and build yourself and get to know yourself. And I want to go back to what you said earlier, because I had to do the same thing. You had to find out what triggers that, what makes you snap. I was telling someone earlier that I have gotten irritated to the point where my boyfriend be breathing. I'd be like, why you gotta breathe like that? Like, why you do you gotta breathe on every breath? But I'm not angry at him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do anything to me. I'm just irritated at the moment for whatever reason. And so now I have to take this time that I just said to him and apologize to him. But it gets to that point where you have to find out what triggers, and sometimes other things trigger you faster, and people have to understand. You can't put it like this. Tika can't talk to me the way Dana talked to me. You understand what I'm saying? But Dana can't talk to me the way my man talks to me. So it's, people have to know their boundaries. And they
yes, boundaries. The B word is very important, and I tell people that all the time.
Yeah, you have to know your boundaries, and you have to know, like you said, your triggers. Like, if me being around Kiki gonna make me step outside my character, then I don't need to be around Kiki. If me hanging around Sharon is gonna have me lifted, and I always want to do something positive, but I'm gonna hang around Sharon because I want to be uplifted. I don't want to be around Kiki, and every time I talk to her, it's always something negative. I want to be around Sharon because she's an uplifter.
And y'all know my famous word, communication. Communication.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you can't tell me what I have done to anger you or disturb you or so forth, so on, then don't sit there with a snarl on your face looking at me upside my head like I did something wrong. Tika, let me breathe. if I'm gonna breathe. That's in order for me to leave. You know.
Right.
But we are human at the end of the day. We are different individuals, and that's what makes us individuals. But at least have that much respect for me. In your eyes, that was wrong. Give me that opportunity to apologize if an apology is needed, or to, or an explanation on why I chose to take the route I took versus versus what you saw I could have done. Or you could have just as easily, the other option is tell me and let me make that choice on which route that I decide to take. Give me options.
Yeah.
Kendra, you mentioned earlier that your mom was one of the reasons why you changed because she's getting older. Let's say your mom wasn't the reason. What would have been another reason that you would have changed to be the person that you are today?
No, I don't have one. I never thought of another one.
Never thought of it. Was just your mother, period.
It was, I was like that too. I used to games in school. That's just who I was. And the older I got, I realized my mom is going to. And I used to shut my mom out a lot. I shut her up. Always outside, always in the street, never coming home. I was bad. I ain't gonna lie, but as I keep saying, but as I got older, I just started getting more respect, and yeah, she's my reason. She only reason. She is the reason.
And I do like how, you have a person that you can identify as your reason, and and explaining why. So I do, I do like that. I like your story, and and like Maria said, I'm proud of your story. I'm proud of you coming on and telling things, and I'm hoping that our listeners are getting something from regarding your emotions and things that we have to deal with, and regarding things that we have to deal with, and really understanding your triggers, because believe it or not, people, we all have them. So we, and we all have them, and like was stated earlier, they affect us in different ways, and you don't know, it could be a quick snap, right quick, or it could be like, okay, I'm gonna let this slide for a minute. It could be any kind of trigger, but you have to understand them, and you have to know how to react to them. So that's why I'm proud of your story, because it has gone from beginning, and and you're talking about how you're becoming who you are today, and I'm really proud of that you were able to tell that.
It was a journey. It still is a journey. I get tested every single day. I've come so far to the point that something so small, I've been keeping the other stuff because I came so far. I'm not going to let something so small take me all the way back, because for one, I know once I get back, I'm going to be able to work the hand. Because so what I do is I just stay right here, just keep talking to myself, mind your business, thinking about what I'm doing, and that's every single day I do this today for, I don't know, 5 years.
So we got this retarded storm, so hopefully it doesn't mess up our situation too bad. But sorry, Kendra, I did have something I wanted to vent about. I want to thank the listeners who reached out to us to let us know about our little technical problem that we had that we didn't know about. Not only was the podcast that we had recorded not together, I couldn't even get on the website. The website was down also. So I want to thank the persons who pointed that out to us. I really appreciate it. Thank you for not talking trash about us, but instead informed us that our website was down and that things just wasn't right. I don't know what's going on these last couple of weeks. If it wasn't a storm, it was an equipment issue. We ain't got no cheap stuff, so I don't know what's going on. We got a storm again today.
The devil is a lie, and we're gonna keep going.
And that's what's gonna happen. So Kendra, you go ahead and you take over the show, sweetheart, and finish your story. I just had to get that off my chest.
Oh no, you're fine. But that's mainly all I did. It was excuse me, I'm sorry. It was mainly just me getting myself together. I've been on the same plan for like the past 5 years now. And like I say, every day is a fight, but it's a fight worth it. So I don't mind it. I'll just stay in my own lane and go about my own way.
And that's the best way to be.
Yeah, and like you said just now, you know, you're moving forward, and you're gonna continue to do so. So
right.
Yeah.
And that's my life after the fight. Just innocent old calm Kendra. I just answer everything so calm and I smile. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna stay here and tell y'all that I was like this big great mom. I was friends with my baby people.
Kendra?
Well, my fight is similar to yours, Kendra. Like I said, I used to be a very mean person. You couldn't even look at me. I punch you in the face. and I was one of those people that if you came to me, such and such said you was talking about me, I'd be like, hey, what you gonna do? Punch me in my face? Like, that was me. I'm trained to go. Always trained to go. My triggers now, right. I don't care how old my children are. You mess with my kids, it's a wrap. I don't even want to hear your side of the story.
That's wrong.
You mess with my child. I don't care what your side of the story. I don't even care if they was wrong. You mess with my child. So that's my trigger right there. My children and my family. And you better not mess with my daddy, because my daddy is on and popping. So I bust your head to the white meat over my daddy. Mm-hmm. So those are my triggers. My family, my siblings, especially my children and my daddy, period. My daddy and my kids, I'm going to jail. Hands down. I'm going to jail. Hampton's Finest is coming to get me. So, straight like, and I'm going to call them. My daddy, my kids, I'm going to jail. So, we all have those triggers. We all have crazy in us, whether we want to believe it or not. Everybody crazy. I don't care. Karen crazy. Everybody crazy. You know, You just, like Kendra said, you have to know your trigger, what's going to make your crazy come out. Just like I know every time I go out with this person, I'm going to have to wear my steel toes because this person like to fight. You know what I'm saying? I know every time I go out with this person, I'm going to have a good time. I can wear my shoes, my stilettos, and I ain't got to worry about coming out them jeans. So I just don't put myself in those situations anymore. And that's why my circle is so small. If you're not doing anything to better yourself, there's nothing that I can do for you. Because I'm on a whole different level now. I'm trying to better myself, build an empire for my grandkids, you know, so my grandkids can have something as well as my children. that one's gonna go.
That's really true. I agree.
So, Dana, did you have something to say about the topic? Yeah, she's gonna come back in. So this weather is really messing up everything, but we're gonna keep it moving and smoothing like ain't nothing going on. Kendra, I really appreciate you coming on the show. Now, other than this topic, tell us something about you. Kendra, I'd like to thank you for coming on the show. I also tell us a little bit more about yourself before we end the show.
Okay, yeah. So I formerly was a radio personality for 2 years. I just recently stopped doing that. Let me see. Well, I stated earlier, Friends is my favorite TV show in the world. I'm very family oriented, and that's just about it. That just sums me up.
What made you stop being a radio personality?
The station, it was a lot going on with the station, period. That's just how that goes when you were there. You know how it is in industry. Things happen, and I just... it left. The station left. It disappeared. It went somewhere else, and I'm just still here.
Well, we'll definitely talk after the show. I'm glad you brought that up. Dana, was it anything that you wanted to talk about? It's after the fight.
After the fight, I don't know. I just focus more on me as a person, as an individual, as a woman, as a mother. When you go through situations, it takes a lot out of you as a person, and you do have to regroup and to get yourself back together. But me, I've always been, the headstrong one, amongst my mom and my two sisters. So it's like I'm handling 4 situations all rolled up in one. So for me, it's really taking each day and just taking, to myself.
Right, because it would definitely mess up your mental.
I'm a very spiritual, I'm a very spiritual person, and I always revert back to that, my spirituality, and then knowing God ain't gonna put no more on me than what He knows I can't handle, and I just keep that in mind.
Right, and I like that, and you have a good sense of inner peace too. That way, because you're relying on your spirituality.
Tika, sometimes I have to, because working in the with mental health, you have medicated psych patients and you have unmedicated psych patients. I used to be one of the unmedicated psych patients.
I can't with
her. Right.
So, as I got older, I calmed down a lot, and I started focusing on my spirituality. That's what really keeps me going. Focusing on a lot of, being able to talk with my grandmother and hearing her voice in my head. Girl, you know who to talk to. You already know where to go. And that's just it. Remind yourself who you are, where you come from, and where you're trying to get to.
And it's okay to have a conversation with yourself and answer yourself. You are not crazy, because some of the damn best conversations be with me.
Okay.
Man, I agree.
Nobody
had some of the best conversations with myself
but you. Yeah.
Exactly.
I had the best conversations with myself. Girl, you knew. Yeah, it's okay to talk to yourself. It's okay to answer yourself. If they call you crazy, tell them they the ones crazy, because they don't know themselves.
Right. And that is true. Talking to yourself is, I believe, is the most important thing that you can do, because in all actuality, you do come first. You have to understand who you are before you relate to others. So.
And like I tell people, ain't nobody gonna take care of me like I take care of me. Period.
Exactly.
Ain't no man gonna take care of me like I take care of me. Ain't nobody gonna take care of me like I take care of me.
Correct.
And people just have to understand that. You talk to yourself, child. Shoot, it's okay. Talk to yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm all for it. Again, Miss Kendra, I would like to thank you for coming on the show, coming on Sipping with Maria and Tika G. We would love to have you on the show again. Conversation was great. Definitely great. And we about to do our outro. Thank you for listening to Sipping with Maria and Tika G. We apologize for the inconvenience, the technical difficulty. It's a storm, y'all. I don't know what's going on. Every week is something lately, but it ain't nothing but the devil.
It's a storm, y'all. It is thunder.
Yes.
Okay.
The devil is working. And as you know, Sipping with Maria and Tika G does not talk about politics, religion, or celebrities. You can catch us every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'd like to thank Dana and Kendra for coming up on the show. Dana snuck up in here, y'all. So
absolutely,
she snuck up in here.
Smooth criminal. Sneak tip.
Season 2 is called Let's Talk About It. We picked that topic so our listeners can feel comfortable with coming on our platforms and expressing themselves without being judged. So check us out, as always, every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we out.